You are tuned in to the JDAWG and LEEVIS Show. After years of playing together in bands and tons of late-night conversations, it was decided that it was only fair we repeat it all here. JDAWG and LEEVIS Show. Leevis, we're going on air in a minute. Leevis! Wake up, for God's sakes.
God, I just start to get a good nap and then you freaking wake me up.
Rip Van Lee Winkle. Yeah, we're actually going to do a show tonight.
We are. Do we tell anybody?
No. Don't tell anyone.
Shh, it's a secret show. Secret summer show.
It's a triple S. There's an Urban Dictionary term for triple S.
I bet there is.
Oh, look that up.
Are we doing Urban Dictionary tonight?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not on the agenda.
All right.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I haven't seen you in like 2 weeks, so you'll have to tell me about your vacation.
So you just want to see me?
Well, yes.
In all of my glory?
Yeah, but I know you never shut up, so...
No, I don't. Well, if you keep listening, even though we didn't tell you about the show, you might hear something about there's a show called Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Yeah, Leevis wants to talk about
the
that.
GOT.
I've washed my hands of the whole thing, but he's going to talk about it. There's also a football...
No spoilers.
No spoilers. He doesn't do spoilers.
I don't.
There's also a football update tonight that you're really going to want to stay tuned for. It's an update about the sport of the football.
Yeah, off-season. An off-season report, so to say.
American football.
Yes, as opposed to all the soccer that we normally talk about.
Very good friend I had to part ways with after knowing him for so long. His name is George.
Okay.
He's a little four-legged friend that I had in my backyard that I had to let go of, and you're going to hear all about that story. It was a very sad moment, but he had to go.
Man versus nature.
And then while I was away from the show, I was in Michigan.
Okay.
Lots of stuff happened up there.
Awesome.
Cool stuff.
Can't wait to hear about it.
Lots of nakedness on the beach. No.
Wait.
That was just me.
I thought that was Game of Thrones.
And I was properly arrested immediately by the DNR. So. All right, so we're going to talk about that tonight here for podcast number 18 of the JDAWG and LEEVIS Show.
The crowd goes wild.
Well, the night that Patty Murphy
Certainly could be.
Sorry.
Could be the night that Patty Murphy died.
Go ahead. Slate 2.
Come gather around, people, wherever you roam. Admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept that it's soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times, they are a-changin'. Come writers and critics who prophesy with your pen, keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin. There's no telling who that it's naming, for the losers now will later to win, for the times they are a-changin'. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall. For he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. There's a battle outside and it's raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changin'. Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend a hand, for the times they are a-changin'. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow ones now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first ones now will later be last, for the times they are a-changin'.
See, and I asked you before the show what you wanted to drink. I offered you a Mike's Hard Lemonade.
It's true.
I offered you a Dad's Root Beer. And with either of those, you could not shake with the ice. You might hear the air conditioner on in the background tonight. I don't know if you can hear that or not. I may have been on the last show, but...
It's almost as if it's July or something.
But it's not going off.
Fair enough.
Otherwise, I mean, this basement gets sticky enough in the wintertime when Lee's down here. But leave us here in the summertime, it's even more sticky. So we're going to leave that on.
Fair enough.
Keep us nice and cool, because this is going to be a hot show. Hot show's been like 7 weeks since we've been on the air?
Feels like it. I feel like you've grown a full head of hair since the last time I saw you.
Well, thank you. I actually noticed that this morning. I shaved before my vacation last week. Shaved the noggin and just let her go. See what would happen.
I can tell.
Kind of a mess, but I think I'm going to go for the skullet.
It's getting curly.
We're going to go full-on skullet. Yeah. So, a lot happened in the last couple of weeks.
Welcome back, listeners.
Podcast 18.
What?
18.
Did we must have skipped some then.
We did.
I swear the last one.
Last week was 12.
Okay, fair enough. That makes more sense.
There were some imposters in between there that were doing shows in our absence, but we are on 18. That means we're almost to 50.
Clear? Yes. Yep.
Which will be a very commemorative show.
We're almost nearly halfway to 50.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
We're more than halfway to half of 50.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Huh.
So what'd you do last week?
I don't know. It was a week ago.
Oh.
How am I supposed to remember that?
1 week ago. What is today? Today's Thursday. 1 week ago. 2 weeks ago today, I hopped in the truck and went to Michigan.
Okay.
That's the one on the other side of the lake.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Illinois.
Did you end up in water?
There's Illinois, there's Wisconsin, and then across the way is Lake Michigan. But we didn't go across the lake. We went around the lake.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea, unless you take the ferry.
And one thing I noticed this year, very big lake. Never really paid attention, just enjoyed the drive. But this time we left late.
Okay.
Later, we didn't leave till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we didn't get to the hotel till like 10 o'clock. We stay in Grand Rapids and then make our way up to Traverse City. So we were getting there late, so I wasn't really enjoying the scenery. I was just mad that we were leaving late. And I just started thinking, this is a really big lake.
It's a lot of water.
It's a lot of water.
A lot of water and no sharks.
But that's the best part about it. I was going to touch on that. There's no salt. There's no sharks. And as they say in Michigan, no worries.
There you go.
You can go out in the water and nothing's going to kill you. And when you're looking at the water, it looks like the ocean to me. I can't see land on the other side. It looks like the ocean. Water tastes a little better, too. Except, did we talk about last time the problems in the West Bay in Traverse City?
Yes. Yes, we did.
About the poo?
Yeah.
I didn't see any while I was there. It was all gone.
I should have listened to it, the podcast again, so that I would be prepared for this.
Yeah, the poo was gone.
Well, that's good.
So everybody was swimming in the West Bay, so we didn't have a crowded East Bay, which is what I was worried about. But not one. Well,
Do you really want to talk about this?
I may have gone waist deep a time or two, but that's just one little drop in a very large body
lake.
of water. So yeah, we met some friends up there, had a wonderful time. Pretty much every day is non-eventful. When you go to Michigan, you get up, you eat, you go to the beach, you swim, you come back, you light a fire, and you go to bed.
That's the joys of not actually living in Michigan.
Right.
Is you get to enjoy Michigan like that when you do go there.
Because nobody wants to actually work in Michigan.
Well, certainly not people from Illinois.
That would be awful.
Yeah.
But I'll tell
I
you,
concur.
I'll tell you what, one thing that finally got to me this year in Michigan, they cannot figure out traffic signals.
You mean like worse than
All
Chicagoland area?
Well, in Chicagoland,
Come on.
when you come up to a stoplight, there's like 17 stoplights. There's 3 on the
Yes.
right, there's 3 on the left, there's 2 overhead, there's 4 on the other side of the street.
Right, there's
There's
a
no
helicopter,
and
showing you another...
Exactly.
Mhm.
And there's no mistaking when it's time to go and when it's time to stop.
True.
In Michigan, they hang overhead ones right in the middle of the intersection. They just put 2 up there.
Mhm.
That's it. There's nothing on the corners. And every time I pull up to an intersection with the truck, I can't see them. So I'm
I see.
always bending down,
Right.
looking up, and I actually had a sore back after a while.
Your
this year.
truck is too damn big, is what the problem is.
That might be what it is.
Michigan people
See-
don't drive big trucks; they drive snowmobiles
They do
all the time.
when you get up north.
yeah,
And you wouldn't think that JDAWG would drive a big old hillbilly truck.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think he'd be in a Prius, right? Listeners. And no, I drive a truck, and the Prius. Now, I would love to have one, but I tried to pull the camper with it. The camper kind of pulled the Prius, so I was going backwards.
you need a camper like my folks.
Like-
That's about slightly larger than the glass that you're drinking from.
Isn't that like a teardrop camper?
Something like
It's
that.
like just enough room to sleep in.
It's but then I don't know. It pops out. It's like one of those tents that just goes. Foomp,
Right.
and
But it's ever so tiny and compact.
Yeah, and my true confessions, my folks do actually pull it with their Prius.
Oh,
So
nice.
It is
A
tiny.
Prius pullable camper.
It is. I want to say it's half the size of a king size bed. So the first fold out is it becomes a king size bed, and then the second fold out is the same dimensions as the bed, but it becomes like a screened in porch area.
Oh.
So you don't have a lot of room.
Well,
but
then
you
there's a
do
third
have-
fold out, and that's the in-ground pool.
Well, yeah, I thought that goes without saying.
But they usually don't. They don't fill it till they get there because that's a lot of extra weight to carry for the Prius.
Yes.
So they do have to use the water at the campground to fill it. But yeah, that's awesome. I've seen a lot of those teardrop campers, and some of them now are just as expensive as the 32-footers.
it doesn't surprise
And
me.
they weigh about 2,000 pounds, and they have just enough room to sleep. But there's air conditioning, there's a fold-out kitchen, there's a sink, everything you can think of. And I don't know. I need more room.
Yes.
Need a little more room. If I just want somewhere to sleep, I just buy a tent.
Yeah. Well, and you snore, so the rest of us want room too.
Well,
not that I would know that.
I snore, but at least I don't whore like
right.
some people in this studio. Which, by the way, I have to show you this picture too because,
Oh, no.
and I don't know why I didn't buy you this T-shirt up there. Oh my lord! And I should have just bought it, and I didn't. But I think I'm actually going to order it for you.
So you're still going to show it to me.
Oh, I'm going to show it to you, and then I'll kind of explain what it's all about. But of course, you know about the Captain Salmon shirt. that I have.
Absolutely.
The Captain Salmon shirt is very popular. It's a picture of a superhero with a cape flying, holding a fishing rod, and above it says Captain Salmon. I bought the shirt up in Michigan last year, and everywhere I've gone, everybody says, "Who's Captain Salmon?" Everywhere I go. I wanted to buy another
Salmon.
one this year as it was fading out,
Oh,
but they
yeah.
only had 2 mediums left. So my
Okay.
buddy's son got one, and I took a very good flat picture of it, hoping that maybe I could recreate Captain Salomon. But yeah, this one, if you want to just go ahead and read what the shirt says. It's a fishing shirt.
It's a fishing shirt. It says, "I'm a hooker on the weekends."
Yes, absolutely. And that's, well, no, I wouldn't say Lee is the hooker, but he is the hookie. Is that,
Yeah,
no?
yeah, I'm
Or
the
or
bait.
hookette.
Just call me the bait.
The bait. So I almost bought it. I didn't. You might still get it though. Hooker on the weekends.
So Michigan went very, 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 very well. This was we always go the week before Cherry Festival.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now, Cherry Festival is not part of the porn industry.
Oh, okay.
Which
I thought we were still talking about
I think that's
hookers.
in Trenton, New Jersey, the Cherry Festival. But this is just like their local put up the big band shell, and believe it or not, Salt and Peppa and Vanilla Ice were performing this year up there. And
at
they're
the Cherry Festival.
The Cherry Festival.
Unbelievable.
2 days after we left is when they're going on, and I almost called home, called into work, took a couple extra days, found a campground a little further away. I would have loved to see that.
The kids got to see Vanilla Ice. Really.
That would have been. He would have just been singing "Ice Ice Baby" the whole time.
I'm sure.
Because anything else he sang, nobody would know what it is.
Right.
But yeah, him and Salt and Peppa.
Mm-hmm.
Not Pepper, Peppa.
Yeah.
So that would have been interesting. It was
all us good '90s kids know that it's Salt and Pepper.
Early '90s review. That was the '90s, right? Like
Yeah.
very early '90s when that broke out. So
yeah, you were still in high school, and well into the 2000s too. Now that I think about it, so I can see how that would.
Yeah, I was in my 16th year of high school.
How that can be confusing.
So that was very interesting to find that out. But one thing we did get to see, one thing that's fantastic about the Cherry Festival, is every 2 years the Blue Angels visit.
Oh, okay.
This year, a little different, little more special, because there was only 5 of them. Because I don't know if you heard.
Did they
but
do the
it was
missing?
it was maybe a month ago.
Okay.
The Blue Angels flew somewhere in Tennessee, and one of them crashed.
I did not
And the
know
pilot
that.
was killed.
Hmm.
So this time they flew all their formations with 5 instead of 6 planes.
I see.
I believe there is a 6th plane, but they did it on purpose.
Right.
So
Right.
it was kind of interesting to see. Or they would have 4 in a formation and one guy flying solo, like doing something on his own.
Okay.
So it was kind of weird to see. But the best part about it is when you're standing over the bays, these planes come down 300 feet above the water and come ripping across the bay, and they're already across the bay before you hear the sound, the whole
Right.
sonic boom thing, and it's just amazing. And they were out there. The treat that we get before Cherry Festival is they have to practice for 3 days before they put the show on.
I see.
So we just watch the practices.
Nice.
And it's all free. You're sitting on the beach.
Right.
And it's really no different than the shows.
Mm-hmm.
So that part was fantastic.
And I may be mistaken, but I think there's also they do like a missing man formation sometimes too.
Yep.
So maybe that
They did fly with the 5, and then one of the corners was missing.
Okay.
So they do that as well. Then we got to see the Blue Angel pilots as they were setting up for some kind of presentation they were going to do, and we got right up next to them. Found out one of them is a woman.
Ah.
And she's very, very tiny.
To fit in there,
And that was very impressive, because you couldn't, when they're in the air, you can't tell the difference between any of them. They're just all so tight and together. And all that
Right,
stuff.
right.
And I'm not an aviation expert by any means, but I'll tell you what, I could sit and watch them all day. And then they had another plane by the name of Fat Albert.
Okay.
Fat Albert is their plane that carries all of their stuff to the next show. Because obviously they fly their planes to the next airport, but
Right.
somebody's got to bring all their stuff, their luggage, their gear,
Right, right.
all that. And it's a giant like B-25 bomber with 4 big propellers on it.
Nice.
And it was flying over the bay and doing big dips and dives and swirls, and the name was Fat Albert. So we got to see Fat Albert this weekend too.
Wow.
But that was a lot of fun.
Pretty eventful for uneventful Michigan.
Yes, it was very. The problem is, once I get to Michigan, all I do is count down the days till I have to leave and depress myself.
Yeah, I hear you. It's one of those where you're like, Tuesday, it's Tuesday already.
Right.
I'm leaving on Friday.
We only have 4 full days left.
Yes, exactly.
What can I possibly get done in 4 full days?
I have the same affliction. I do the same thing. I will be doing the same thing in about 3 weeks. So that's when
okay.
we go to Michigan.
You go to the Upper Peninsula.
Yeah, we don't stop at where you do.
Right. We go around the lake.
Yeah, we go up and over.
Now, I could go up and over, but it would probably add on about another 4 or 5 hours of driving, because we'd have to come back down. Mm-hmm. Then there's that whole Mackinac Bridge thing that I really don't ever want to have to pull my camper across.
Oh, whatever. Chicken.
Well, did you hear about the Yugo? The wind actually lifted a Yugo off of the bridge and plummeted into the bay.
Okay, the fact that you're referencing a Yugo means that this happened back in like 87.
It was there's Yugos today.
No, there's not.
Go step outside my door, go down 2 streets, and I bet you'll find 3 or 4 of them.
There's not even a Yugoslavia. There hasn't been a Yugoslavia no, there isn't.
Anyways, a Yugo got flipped off that bridge.
Fine.
Because half of the bridge is pavement, and then the other half is grate.
Well, I think they put up Yugo nets now.
Are there Yugo nets?
Yes.
Or they have Yugo boats.
I think they have a sign that says no Yugos have been flipped off this bridge in 25 years.
25 years and counting. And sad to say, she didn't make it.
Oh, really?
Quite a drop there.
Yeah, it
And
is.
no, she made the fall, but the Yugo sunk like a stone. Oh, so yeah, I think you're right. I think you'd be even hard pressed to find a Yugoslavian in Michigan, let alone the cars that they built. So, but I've ridden in a Yugo. It's a fantastic experience. It's kind of like a lawnmower that goes 80 miles an hour. Oh, the Yugo.
Yugo. I've been in a Geo Metro. That's about as small. And I think I
was in a Geo Tracker.
Okay.
Which was their 4x4 version of the Geo Metro. But I was not in a Geo Metro.
That had the Geo Tracker, I think, had 4 inches of clearance underneath it. You know,
Right.
when the Geo Metro only had an inch and a half.
You couldn't fit a Genoa phone book under the clearance on a Geo Metro. So yeah, the Metro, I guess, was more of your... It was more of your inner city car in the metropolitan area where the Tracker is. You know, when you get out in the country like we live out here, you want to have the 4x4 to help you in the snow.
You need the extra power.
The extra power. Oh, there was, the Geo Metro, Geo Tracker, and the Geo Prism.
Geo Prism.
I think the Prism was the 2-door sedan.
Oh my gosh!
If I remember correctly.
I don't know.
And I don't really know
the
what was
Metro
special
I was
about
in
it.
was a hatchback. I remember that. But
Maybe that's what it was. And maybe the
Prism.
The Prism was the more upscale car.
Fancy. We're going to be driving the Prism tonight.
Well, we've done that before. I'm sure there's an Urban Dictionary term for riding the Prism.
Mm-hmm.
Woo-hoo-hoo. So yeah, we're going to get Michael Gold back on here soon. I mean, we tried to call him last time.
Yeah.
He didn't answer, and he was very upset about that. But he needs to come back on the show. We are starting to not have as much vocabulary as we normally have on the show.
Yeah, I think we get dumbed down in the summer.
Yeah, we do. We
Just like
definitely
everybody
do.
else.
And then we need to get him in studio, though.
That would be
We've
awesome.
got to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he's here for the whole show, that could be a good time. Because there would be an extra comment for everything. So, as a matter of fact, I think he drove until 2 years ago a Geo Prism.
Probably.
Yeah, I think that's what that was.
Yeah, I can see him.
So, I mean, all the labeling was off it, and it was spray painted orange. But I think it was. I think originally it was a Geo Prism.
I remember seeing
before
an orange Geo Prism with a bunch of Spider-Bone bumper stickers on it. So yeah, it must be. It had to be him.
Yep. I saw it parked outside a Pizza Hut in Oak Lawn. At 3 in the morning. Go figure. Oh, so yeah, I went to Michigan, came back. Everybody's safe. Everybody's sound. The camper's put away.
Good.
And
you left Michigan in 2 pieces?
in 2 pieces.
Good.
Yes. I left a couple pieces, like I said, in the lake. But brought the rest of me back. So I just want to say thank you to our friends outside of Flint. Because the whole time they managed to keep their children away from us.
That was
'cause
thoughtful.
I mean, we'd be sitting around the campfire, but it wasn't even that enjoyable because of their glowing.
Yeah.
So you couldn't see the stars.
Right.
Because of that whole radioactive thing.
Couldn't you just give your kids like glow sticks and be like, yeah, be like them?
What we did, our kids do this thing called the Northern Lights. And they put all the glow stuff on, and then they run around the campground. There's a bridge that goes up from the campground over to the beach, and it goes over the main highway.
Nice.
And they go stand up there and they wave. Well, it's no fair because we had to go spend $40 on glow stuff for our kids. Their kids just went up there and just stood there. And, they were like, it seemed like a bad glow villain from a Scooby-Doo cartoon. You take the costume off and then they're glowing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they didn't have to spend any money at all. So they were just jumping around having a good
So
time.
unfair.
But, yeah.
Funny how the media didn't capitalize on that. They kept talking about all the other problems.
Yeah, you would think so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all the problems today, you think that glowing children would be at the top.
Absolutely.
So, but maybe it's just so common there.
We like to call them high visibility. So glowing is a derogatory term.
Although I gotta hand it to them. It does help when your kid is wandering around the campground. You know where they are.
Sure.
I mean, just look for the beam of light in the clouds and you just follow it down. So, but yeah, I'd like to thank them for coming up, and it was a wonderful, wonderful time. And my good friend from there actually got to listen to a little bit of our shows
Okay.
as I introduced it to him.
And they're still friends?
And we're still friends.
Okay.
But I had him hold the phone up to his ear because the kids were around the campfire and had
Glowing.
Had a big, as my father would say, the word begins with S, eating grin on his face.
I see.
So he was definitely enjoying it. So I think we'll gain a fan out of this.
All right.
And he'll pass the word, and before you know it, we will own Flint, Michigan.
Michigan. You're mine.
And then we'll do some kind of We'll do a podcast there, and we'll hand out like bottled water to everybody.
There you go.
So just free bottled water, and it'll say JDAWG and Leevis on it, and listen to the show, and a glow stick, bottled water and a glow stick for everybody. So when it wears off, you still got some glow.
Some
fun.
glowing.
Yeah.
Still got some glowing to do.
So I think that's what we'll do. So I was in Michigan. You had to do something with your time.
What did I do? I have to brag a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Listeners.
Here we go.
For the first time in history.
No, it's not.
I am ahead of JDAWG in a series.
In a series.
I watched Game of Thrones. I am completely caught up!
Oh, my Lord.
For the first time ever.
And
That's all I'm going to say, but...
is it winter yet?
Oh, I can't tell you that.
See, that's why I quit, because winter never came. I think I've said it before. I think it was the third season I made it through. But I don't even have HBO. I was stealing it from someone.
Yeah.
I was using a login. And then they got rid of HBO, and then I was screwed. So I couldn't have watched it if I wanted to. So I tried to blame it on the fact that it was a bad show, when really I just had no access to it.
Here's my thing. Our local video store, we still have a video store in Belvedere.
A VHS video store?
No, not VHS. That one got taken down.
You can still get
Hard.
VHS in Hampshire, Illinois, I believe.
Can you?
They still have VHS available.
I loved our little VHS place. They had the whole basement was full of VHS tapes, sorted by genre. So you could go in and be like, I'm in the mood for a police murder mystery, and you would have to go to that section and dig. It was fantastic.
Yep.
But no, if you get the... Okay, so HBO puts out the seasons on DVD a year late.
Okay.
Right? And so that season would then be on the new release shelf for about a year.
Okay.
But the previous season will all be in one set for $2.99 for 5 nights. So you can get the whole...
You got to blow through it.
You can get the whole stinking... Well, Game of Thrones seasons are only 10 episodes anyway.
Right.
So you're not talking a tremendous, commitment. But anyway, so yeah, I'm like, well, $3. Yeah, okay, I'm in for this. So, but yeah, so then I watched season 5, and then somehow season 6 showed up on my computer. I'm not exactly sure how they all showed up, but they came with subtitles, so I was happy with that. English subtitles.
Okay.
So
I mean, you prefer French.
but yeah, that is
Your
my
native language.
native language. As I'm an immigrant from Germany, France.
Germany, France.
So, but immigrant. I'm an immigrant from. Anyway, no, it was just very exciting because I never get to be on time. I'm not a big TV watcher at all, you could say.
Yeah, I would say that.
So, yeah,
I think a lot of it has to do with there's not a TV in your house.
that could have something to do with it.
So kind of hard to watch TV.
Yeah, I kind of gotten away from the whole TV thing.
Yeah, you ever seen that well, you don't watch TV, but
Yeah.
did you ever see the commercial where the guy's watching a soccer game and he walks through his house and he gets up in the morning and he opens up the mirror and there's a TV behind it and he's watching the game and he goes out to get the mail and he opens the mailbox and there's a TV in the mailbox.
That may have actually been old
And then
enough.
there's one in
that
the
I've seen
garage
it.
and there's one in the kitchen. Everywhere he goes, by the time he brushes his teeth, gets ready for work, he's already looked at 17 televisions.
Okay.
That's pretty much me. So I could have say the Bears game going and walk from the basement all the way out to the garage and not skip a beat.
There you go.
So
Yep.
that works. But now you can pretty much put everything on your phone anyways.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can just stream it right there.
Just walk around with your phone.
So yeah, that was kind of an older television commercial.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely hard to watch TV if you don't have a TV.
Yep.
But that, my friends, my fellow listeners, is what makes Lee so divine. Because he's forced himself to actually read, listen to...
I do occasionally read. I listen to awesome podcasts.
podcasts.
Or awesome podcasts.
Enhance his music.
Try.
Knowledge. So he's very well-rounded, and I think it has to do with this non-TV
This
thing.
lack of TV.
So when he does get to indulge in something such as Game of Thrones, and Khaleesi, who I must say is easy on the eyes. It is Khaleesi, right? Am I that far away that I still got it right?
I
Oh, I
cannot
remember-
confirm or deny because I don't do spoilers.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
I do remember...
Except you should know that... No, I'm just kidding.
in the first season, though, and this doesn't give too much away.
Okay.
And
First
if you haven't started watching it by now, then whatever. But she did quite a bit in that first season.
Yes.
Showed quite a bit, did quite a bit,
Yes.
made lots of really cool noises.
And my understanding is that her contract now reflects that she will not be doing that ever again.
Correct, because after the first season, we never saw that again.
Yeah.
So, first season was good.
At least not.
Because her boyfriend was Aquaman.
Oh.
It's the guy that did, I forget the guy's name, that was her boyfriend in that
Okay.
whole first season. But he's supposed to be the new upcoming Aquaman in the new Marvel, or
I
not
see.
Marvel, it's
Yeah, DC.
DC Comics.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So if you can
Okay.
claim to fame that you got nailed by Aquaman, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. If he just, like, did she just lay there and he just came over and sprayed on her like a salmon? I don't know how that works, but
I will say this. What I and again, this isn't directly spoiling anything, but just as far as like what I really liked about the early seasons was that I didn't know any of the actors. Or
Right.
very few, very very few of them. I knew Lena Headley, however you pronounce her last
Right.
name, from the 300 series.
right,
But other than that, mostly people that I didn't know, and it's kind of like they're running out of no-name actors, which doesn't make any sense to me. As the seasons go on, there's more and more actors that I recognize, and that inherently pulls me out of the story.
Right.
Just because it's like, oh, I recognize you from whatever, and then I have to reacquaint myself with a character that, and there's so many other really good actors and actresses that I haven't seen, that it seems like was it really a necessary distraction?
right.
Yes, you got a big name in there or a bigger name, but I don't know. I kind of like having this world where you don't know anybody. Everybody's new. So,
Well, who's the little guy?
oh, Dinklage.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
When I saw him, the first thing I thought of was he was an elf.
That's true.
So that was the first character I saw. I'm like, oh, he was the little guy from Elf.
Right. Right. And you know what? I would have to say that this is now his defining character.
I would think so.
He's good enough that you forget after a while that. All right, it doesn't take
Right.
very long for you to forget that he.
Well, he was
Elf.
just recently on Saturday Night Live, and when he
Okay.
came on, he was that. Oh, that's the guy from Game of Thrones,
Gotcha.
and that's
Mhm.
that's all you knew him as. So
Right.
he's definitely made a name for himself there.
Mm-hmm.
But of the 3 seasons I saw, he was probably one of the favorite characters.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But this show is absolutely not afraid to let anyone go at any time.
Right.
So, without saying who gets killed and what gets killed or who gets sent off or whatever, just don't get attached to anyone.
Right.
So, and that's the way you do it. That's it would make you mad, but then it would make you want to see what's coming next.
Mhm.
Okay, let's get done with that and move on.
Right.
Where Walking Dead,
Mm-hmm.
they
Which
have,
is a show that I am about 4 seasons behind on.
they have trouble with that.
Oh,
That-
letting go.
Letting
go of.
they make sure that before they get rid of the character that they dumb them down
I see.
to where they're not really important anymore. Then they're gone.
Sure.
Whereas Game of Thrones is kind of like a first series that ever really did it. Like this person could be like a main character over the past season. They've been the guy, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden just gone.
Yeah, and I admittedly have not read the books, but my understanding is that that's how they're all written too.
Right.
Is that there'll be 3 chapters on a character, and you're like, oh, this is going to be new, and then chapter 4 opening sentence stabbed,
Yep.
and that's the end of it. And whether it's because the author is getting bored with the character, or whether it's just his style,
Right.
He of course has had plenty of time to think of his responses on how why he does this to these characters, but he does say, he has a quote about life isn't fair. It's not fair to favor characters over other
Right.
ones. They should be subject to the same thing as everybody else.
It absolutely makes it more realistic.
Yeah,
Because
in its
anyone can
fantasy
die at
way.
any time, obviously. So
It certainly keeps you on your toes,
Right.
So
I may gander at that again if I get my hands on some DVDs
Yeah,
or
if you got that
some
extra
downloads
$3.
or that extra $3 laying around,
Mhm.
or Seamus O'Leary, good friend
Oh.
of the show.
yeah,
He tends to have copies of just about everything.
I see.
So, did I say copies?
You did, but
Yeah, copies of things he owns.
oh, okay.
Yes, backups, if you will. So
I thought you meant like photocopies of the covers.
that's what I said.
Yeah,
Pictures of the DVD.
Yeah, all right.
So
That can't be
because I
illegal.
believe he's all caught up as well.
Okay,
So maybe I should hit him up for that.
probably. See,
So
I
everybody
can't-
keeps telling me, you gotta give it a chance. I gave it 3,
Yeah,
and
I-
things
I-
weren't moving. Even though each individual episode taken out by itself was kind of cool,
Well,
but the
and-
storyline wasn't moving for me.
And you might be in the position to just say, when it's done, then I'll watch it, because then you know it's going to go somewhere.
Right.
You know, and you don't.
Because
have
then I
to-
can get there,
Then you don't have to wait a year.
unless it's like Lost.
So, yeah.
You didn't watch that one, did you?
I made it through season
Like
1.
128
of
episodes of I'll never get it back because it just ended, and when it ended, that was the episode. Everybody was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
It just I'm not going to say the ending just in case you're in the middle of watching.
Yeah.
But the directors actually came out 2 years later and said, "It's funny that the show was named Lost because we were lost and we had no idea where to go with the story. And the last season and a half, we were making it up.
Right.
There was nothing written.
Right.
Like, oh,
Well,
thanks.
yeah, I was going to say, I assume by them they had lost their, main writers and all that business.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong, but, that brings up a good point, though. Is there like a statute of limitations on when you can start, giving away the endings to things and it's socially acceptable? I'm thinking about, spoilers. When does a spoiler become common, just not common knowledge,
Well,
but
let's throw a couple out there. Say Breaking Bad. It's been about 3 years,
since
two
it
and a half,
ended,
3 years since it ended.
yeah,
If I told you what happened in the last episode,
I don't know.
because
it's,
you get to a certain point a couple years down the road where everybody's talked about it. It's been on
Right.
social media. So does it hurt if I want to talk about it out loud?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, but then then you go further and you go to like Star Wars, and the big.
I'd almost say a year.
uh,
After a season ends, you should have the right to talk about it whenever you want. But then when you think about it, so many people have no intentions of watching a series until it's over.
Right.
Like you were saying before, because you
That-
know there's an ending. You know I can get to it. I don't have to wait.
Yeah, generally,
And then they
that's
binge watch.
how I am.
So
Because that's when Netflix starts to cooperate.
right now, I just started a show on Netflix called The 4400.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen it, but I think my kids.
2004 is when it was made.
Ooh.
So somebody came across it. Well, this is what happens. Can I get mad at them?
Have. Right.
But you kind of can because Netflix just put it on there.
Yeah.
So to me, it's brand new.
Yes.
So, which by the way is probably the most interesting B-rated series I've ever seen in my life. I just got done with Helix,
Okay. Oh.
which there
Is
was
that
2 seasons.
two
I guess
seasons?
there is a 3rd season, so they're signed on for a 3rd season.
Okay.
But it's like same characters, but a whole different story. It's like the first one doesn't really carry into the second one.
I see. Mm-hmm.
Kind of like American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm.
You got the same characters, but it's a whole different story.
Hmm.
So that's what that did. So that was kind of because I had to start all over again.
Sure.
But I got through that. It was good, and I thought that's probably the best B-rated series I've ever seen. Then I started to watch the 4400.
Interesting.
And have you heard about the 4400?
Yeah, I know the basic plot. I didn't watch it. I think.
The fact that over, I think it was 6 decades, 4,400 people went missing,
Okay.
just disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to them. And then one evening in 2004, this big ball of light exploded over a lake in Washington, somewhere outside of Seattle, and 4,400 people were standing by the lake and had no idea what had happened, and it was all those people, but they didn't age. So
Sure.
there was a girl that was 6 years old, taken in 1946. She was 6 years old in 2004.
I see.
So you can only imagine the problems
Right.
that are about to happen with 4,400 people.
Drama.
So, yeah, and the good thing about making it that many people is every episode starts and they'll just show a person and say, this person missing this day, and here's their name. And then you get another story. You could have 4,400 stories.
Gotcha. Mhm.
So, but I guess there's 49 episodes of it, so we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But I recommend it.
All right.
It's good. 4,400.
Mm-hmm.
There's others that aren't so good. Although you got your Sharknadoes and your,
Yeah.
which I recommend just for the goof. And then there was the Lampreys with Shannon Doherty.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, that was horrible, but I couldn't
Okay.
stop watching.
Yeah.
Sci-fi original. So, and yeah, that Helix was also a sci-fi original, and sci-fi is pretty known for bad television.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Although they did get, let's see, Sci-Fi got. They ended up with Stargate, which turned pretty big.
Pretty big.
And I think Farscape was there for a while, at the very least for a while.
That was sci-fi?
I think so. Back in the kind of the classic sci-fi.
You know what was cool in the 4400? An episode just came up, and the girl that was in it, her character had just appeared, and she may be back in other episodes, but it was the crazy girl from Serenity.
Oh,
The heck
yeah.
is her name? I can't think of her name right now, her real name.
Yeah.
But when I saw
River.
yes, River.
Mm-hmm.
I was very pleasantly surprised to see her because she was playing a crazy girl.
Sure.
So, like, she's perfect.
Perfect.
Absolutely perfect for that.
Already sold.
So that was pretty cool. And that has to be one of the best series ever that got cut short.
Yeah.
Would
yeah.
be
Oh,
Serenity.
Firefly.
Firefly. But Serenity was the original movie.
yes.
And that was the name of the ship.
Yes.
And then Firefly was the one season series that they screwed up.
Yep.
Something they like played them out of order, or they played some, and
it
then
had
fans got mad. And
It
then
had
pulled
everything
it and-
against it. It was, yeah. I read a history thing on it, and yeah, they just really got the once over by, I think it was Fox. As far as, yeah, they didn't think that the initial season or the initial pilot was exciting enough, so they jumped to episode 2, and then went back and showed 1, which of course screwed up like all the character development, and
Right.
then. But they also, there's only 13 episodes. They only aired 10 of them, and they moved the slot like 3 times
in those 10 episodes.
in those 10 episodes. So I mean, there was just, it didn't have a chance until it came out in video, and then everybody was like, "What? You know, why'd you ruin this?" You know, so.
And you know who would be very upset about that, or who probably cried herself to sleep?
Oh, I was going to say Seamus O'Leary.
Well, she cried herself to sleep too. Would be Booby Trap,
Yeah, probably.
because I think she would be very upset about that.
Yeah.
Which we haven't heard from Booby Trap much, because I think roller derby has ended the season for now.
Well, in Rockford, but I have no idea how much the Derby dames are doing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's year round or not.
So might be.
But
Yeah.
we wouldn't mind getting her back in the studio.
No,
sometime.
not at all.
That was a lot of fun. She
She came up in conversation just the other day over lunch.
yes,
So
she's a very creative artist. And if you're ever going to be her boyfriend, if you're going to break up with her, just be prepared. Be prepared, because she's going to make you feel the thunder if you break up with her. That's all I'm going to say. So, Booby Trap, if you're out there, I appreciate everything.
Love you, girl.
I appreciate everything you do for us in honor of your ex-boyfriend with your art that you post. It's fantastic. So, yeah, that's... one thing about the trip to Michigan I was going to say before, and it just popped in my head.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
Levis actually helped me prepare for this trip.
Well, I do what I can.
Indirectly, but he did.
I do as little as I can. But
This is probably the worst segue ever. So, before we went to Michigan, I had a friend that lived in my backyard,
yes,
and his name was George. George Cooney,
Oh, right, George Cooney.
as we named him. George Cooney the raccoon was a guest of ours last year in the backyard in the North Brown Studios Resort.
He's a repeat performer.
And we have a pool in the backyard, and it's been there forever. Never had any trouble. The only trouble we ever had was birds taking craps on the rim of the pool. So in order to keep them from doing that, I went to the Googles. How do I stop birds from crapping all over the rim of my pool?
Google would definitely have an answer to that.
And they did.
Yes.
And it was more than one guy saying it. The same thing. Buy rubber snakes and put them around the rim of the pool, and birds will not land because they don't like snakes.
Okay.
So we bought like 6 rubber snakes, put them around the pool, no more crap. Gone.
Well done.
So we've been doing that for years.
Way to go, rubber snakes.
And every year the kids, we go to the dollar store or whatever, they pick out a snake if one gets old or lost, and it's just like a tradition. They'll
Hey,
pick out the snakes to
kids.
keep the birds from crapping on the pool.
It's Snake Day.
It's Snake Day. So,
Some kids go hunting, other kids go buy rubber snakes.
it's life in Genoa. So, last year, we came home from a late evening, put the kids to bed, and my wife and I go outside, and on the deck, there's a rubber snake with the head missing. Just the head. I'm like, what did this?
Some angry bird.
All the other snakes were intact. It was one snake.
Mm.
And it was on the deck, so he, whatever grabbed it, drug it over.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually you know who this is going to be. But then, like, every night, one more snake would be on the ground or in the pool or on the ladder with the head missing. Now, I know that raccoons are somewhat carnivores. They eat fish, they eat crayfish.
Yeah,
they don't necessarily hunt and attack, but if it's laying there, they'll pick it up and eat it.
Mm-hmm.
So he thought these were real? I mean, how many does it take to realize this is not real and this tastes bad and it's funny and it's rubber? But then his obsession went further. The snake started to disappear. Then he started grabbing goggles and chewing the hell out of the goggles.
Mm.
Then he would grab a noodle.
Probably because they didn't fit right.
Probably.
He
probably tried them on.
Yeah.
And he was just using, raccoon with little hands.
Yeah,
he was
little
trying
fingers.
to tighten it and he was biting it. And then the noodles, those are those long styrofoam sticks that you put in the pool. And
Those probably didn't fit either.
which really have no use other than just smacking your friends upside the head with them. They're really good for that. And there would be chunks taken out of those. He'd just, I think this sounds good. And he'd chew the noodle. So I got a raccoon chewing my noodle. That's interesting. And then now you could tell that they were teeth marks. So he was biting the noodle.
Okay.
But then my wife has a raft that she floats around in the pool on. She likes to tan. Like me, I like to get a good
clearly.
base in May and work my way up towards Michigan. The raft, you could tell, was not bitten, but slashed with claws. Because you could see the slash, and you could see the space. You could tell it was a claw. So now, little George Cooney isn't just mistakenly eating things.
Right.
He's intentionally damaging things.
Well, maybe he was trying to work on his tan, too, and got
Perhaps. Got a little carried
tipsy.
away.
Yeah.
So now we're stepping up to destroying the rafts. Then, that raft was on the deck. So he
Okay.
got on the deck and did it.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention, the whole time he's doing this, every night he leaves a crap on the deck. So he comes up and eats a snake, craps on the deck. He destroys the raft, craps on the deck. I'm going to try these goggles on. Oh, I almost forgot. I got a crap on your deck. And it was in the same spot, just two little craps right behind the gate going to the upper deck. And I'm like, what is with this raccoon? And then he got even a little more a-holish, we'll say. Because now...
That's a fantastic adjective.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, wait, that wasn't quite loud enough to be enjoyable. There we go.
There it is.
And so the raft was on the deck, so he was easily getting to it. We bought a small basketball hoop game. It's a little inflatable hoop that floats around the pool, and it comes with a little ball that you try and make baskets
Sure.
with. So that was in the pool floating around. He got on the ladder, reached out, grabbed it, pulled it up on the deck, and slashed it.
And why don't he have...
Again, not a bite mark, and it was laying on the deck slashed. I'm like, now he's pulling things out of the pool and slashing them, and he crapped on the deck.
I think he was trying to slam dunk, and he just got a little... his nails are sharper than he thought. But,
It could be. It could be.
so you're taking this all as intentional. I think that raccoon is just enjoying himself and is in your pool.
North Brown Resort is a nice place to hang out. I will give him that. So he picked the right house. But then the last step, now I put the snakes out to keep the birds off the rim of the pool.
Yes.
Now I go out there one morning and there's little raccoon footprints all around the edge of the pool.
Okay.
So I had two choices. He's got to go or go to Google and find out how to keep raccoons off the rim of your pool. I went with the first one. He had to go because this was all last year that it was fun and games until it got to the point where it was destroying things.
Right.
This year, pretty early spring, because we had some pretty nice weather this year, came back and started the whole thing all over again. So I'm like,
Sure.
oh, where did he go all winter?
Right.
And then he comes back to the resort. So I happen to know that my good friend Levis is a expert raccoon trapper.
Yes.
How many have you bagged in your day?
While I'm not watching TV, I'm out getting raccoons out of my own yard.
How many have you bagged?
8, easy.
Yep, there you go. 8. That's a professional.
That's
Once he hit 3, he was a professional.
that's raccoons.
So,
I've gotten a possum or two too.
Oh.
I have not had a skunk, but
yeah, you probably wouldn't want to mess with that.
a bunch of feral cats.
Yeah.
Collected a bunch. Had a bunch of those.
See, so I know that Levis is not only experienced, but has the cage,
It's true.
the cage that brings on the rage in the animal. to get them out of your yard. So I kindly asked if I could borrow this cage. And he set me up with the whole procedure. You got to put the cat food under the cage.
Works best
So they
that
can't
way.
necessarily get it. They got to stay in there trying to get it, which gives them a longer time to set the trap. So I went home, borrowed the cage, put the food on the ground, and went inside, set the cage. This was 2 days before leaving for Michigan, because I didn't want to come home and find George back floating in the pool, not moving, and my
Right.
liner shredded because
Oh.
he was trying to get out and the pool's empty.
Yeah.
So I decided he had to go before Michigan when we weren't there to monitor the North Brown Studio Resort for George Cooney. So I set the trap. I go back inside. I come back an hour later, and guess who's in the trap? Took
Nice.
an hour.
Well,
And
yeah.
I was going to put a rubber snake in it because I thought, what better way to get
yeah,
him in there?
if nothing else gets them.
So he was in the trap,
Okay.
and in the trap with him was one of my backwashing filter hoses. And it's about 6 feet long, and he had pulled it all into the cage.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Like he was
Yep.
making a nest with it, and it was all chewed up and shredded. I'm like, he just had to do it one last time.
Yep. It's the only thing he could grab.
So
I've been there.
this is about 12:30 in the morning, a day and a half before we're leaving for Michigan.
You have a day raccoon?
No, 12:30 in the morning.
Oh, right.
So 12:30
right.
a.m.
Okay.
So I go out there and I put on the big rubber gloves. I put on a long sleeve jacket, jeans, because I've never trapped a coon or released him before, so I don't know what to expect. I think he's going to come out of the cage and kill me. So, but my good friend Levis told me when you take him to the forest preserve, you got to park the car behind you with the lights pointing from behind you, so he sees the tree in front of you. Point him at a tree, open the cage, and he'll take off. So he didn't hiss at me once. He wasn't upset to be in the cage.
Wow.
Carried him to the van, calm as could be. We had a little conversation at the back of the van.
That's thoughtful.
I told him, I'm going to take you to a nice place. There's a nice river there. You can see sunsets. It's just over the way. You won't be that far from here, so we can still talk. And he seemed to be good with everything, just kind of sitting there and just looking at me. And then we drove out to the forest preserve. I did the release, just like Levis said. I opened the cage, took off in the woods. Very uneventful. Never touched him. Never came in contact with him. Had gloves on the whole time. So I did a good job.
Yeah.
Right?
Case closed.
So I come home at about 1:10 in the morning
Okay.
after this whole procedure. And I thought, I really don't want that cat food sitting out there, because it's just going to attract more.
Sure.
There's a whole big pile of it sitting out by the shed.
Yeah. You don't have any beheaded snakes to keep anything away from
Correct, because beheaded snakes are how you keep raccoons off the pool. So I go out and I start scooping it up onto a plate and cleaning up the cat food. Totally not thinking I didn't have my gloves on. And earlier in the day, I had stabbed myself with a screwdriver working on my minivan. Because the air conditioner blower wasn't working, I had to replace a part. So I had an open cut on my hand touching the food that the raccoon was eating. And I started putting two and two together. I'm like, that's probably not good, because I think the rabies hangs out in the saliva.
Yeah. Did you have any other symptoms, like wanting to bite the heads off of snakes or...
Well, I did crawl up into a tree and eat two bats.
Okay.
Like within 10 minutes of touching the food. So I'm like, I should probably go get this checked out.
Yeah, maybe.
So I went to the emergency room the next day, because the whole next day it was just bothering me. And I just kept thinking about it. I'm like, 1 in a million chance I could have possibly contracted something, but there's a chance. So I go in, the emergency room doctor comes in, I explain the situation, and he says, you're probably fine, but if it was me, he gave me that speech.
Yeah.
I was like, well, then I got to do it.
Right.
He said I would go with the rabies vaccine. So, I'm thinking 20 shots in the stomach.
Right, like the good old days.
Like the good old days, but apparently that hasn't been done since 1980.
Okay.
Didn't know that. That's the
Right.
last time I talked about it or heard about it. Now, you get one tetanus shot. Whether you've had one in the past, you just get one right there.
Okay.
And then they give you the vaccine, so that's 2 shots.
Okay.
But then if you've never had the vaccine before, there's a whole bunch more.
Yeah.
It's a hemoglobin antibody that is taken from people that already have built antibodies against the virus.
Okay.
So it's this immediate dose of antibodies in your blood,
Gotcha.
because the other one you got to work up to it.
Yeah.
But the cut was on my hand, on my left hand, right at the bottom of my pointer finger, about an inch down. She says, we're going to have to put it right where the wound is. Oh. Well, it's just a hand. That shouldn't hurt too much.
I've got another one.
Oh, my goodness gracious. 2 shots in the hand, and it was probably the worst pain I ever felt. And as she's doing it, I was clenching the other fist as hard as I could and beating the bed. And she said, just let me know if you're going to hit me. Then my hand all swells up from all the fluid, and it's just hurting.
Right.
And then I got to get 3 more in my left leg and 2 in my right leg. But those didn't even hurt because I was just staring at the hand. So I had to go through all that. And then up in Michigan, I had to get 2 more. And then I had to come home, and yesterday I went and got the final one.
So you're finally done.
So I'm done. So
Okay.
a total of, I think it was 9, 10, 11, 12 shots.
So do you
is
have
what you get
rabies
now.
yet?
No, I'm hoping to get it soon.
Okay.
With all those shots, I might as well go through it and get it over with. So you go through all that, and then I got the bill or the explanation of benefits from the insurance company.
We wouldn't want to call that a bill.
Now I know why the doctor said, if it was me, just take a stab at what the hospital billed the insurance company for that first round of shots.
Take a stab. I like how
you like that?
Yeah. What the hospital billed it.
Now, it doesn't mean that's what the insurance company is willing to pay, but
Right.
what do you think they billed them?
$2,400.
$2,400.
Because I'm thinking like a hospital.
Well, you're close.
Really?
$20,000. It was like $19,997 and some change.
We are in the wrong business, JDAWG.
And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me.
We got to start giving out black market rabies shots. I mean, that's where the money is.
Come on, man. You get this shot, it makes you go poo like crazy. Yeah, I got diarrhea from the shots, too. It's one of the side effects.
You paid $20,000 for diarrhea.
Yes, I did. So the $20,000, of course, the insurance company said, screw you, this is what we think you should pay, here's this, and we get this discount, and you're in network, and blah, 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 and after all is said and done, I paid $383.
Oh, my gosh.
But the initial bill, they're like, $20,000. The insurance company says no. They're like, okay, you can't
Just
blame us
kidding.
for trying. So, and I haven't even gotten the explanation of benefits for the other 3 additional shots I got.
Oh, my goodness.
Because you get one on day 0, 3, 7, and 14.
Okay.
Who knows what those are?
Right.
But I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
$20,000. I mean, I could think of so many other surgeries I'd love to have that would cost 1/3 of that. And I'm going to get that one surgery.
You could, that's that situation where you could actually, like, fly to Italy, and then get the shots there, and then
Right.
fly back cheaper than it would be to
Probably.
have it done here.
Because that's probably where they make the vaccine. Just fly to where they make it.
There you
Then
go.
it doesn't have to stay chilled and transport. Just
Yeah.
give it to me right out of the tap.
Mhm.
So,
I'm sure they have raccoons in Italy.
$20,000 raccoon. But I'll tell you what, it was the glory of seeing his little tush run into the forest that just makes it all worth it. I should have shot him. I should have shot him. So the whole thing is, if you capture the animal, the suspect animal,
Yes.
which I did at one point, they can, of course, they have to euthanize it, but then they have to examine the brain and they can tell if it had rabies or was carrying rabies.
Yes.
Whether or not you need the shots.
Yes.
But when I let him go, I had no fear.
Right.
Because I had not even come in contact with him. So, of course, I let him go.
Mm-hmm.
But then, in hindsight, it was my mistake for not using gloves and going through the worry. But
Maybe you should have left a rubber snake out there and seen if he had come back.
well, what I did is I took a rubber snake and rubbed it all over the wound. Thinking, maybe just by luck that some kind of antibody formed on the snake because it had been bitten so many times.
Yes.
And this will save me. So perhaps that's what's actually going to save me. But,
Could be. Mm-hmm.
but if you ever have somebody want to give you a shot in the hand, don't do it. I could not believe the pain that
Wow.
was involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was ready. I knew it was going to hurt. My God. And the needle wasn't even in that far.
That might be why people don't get tattoos on the palms of their hands or
Could be.
bottom of their feet.
You never see
kind
that.
of thing. Yeah.
And she had told me, she said, I've had some cases where if it's a direct bite, you actually have to put the needle into the wound.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Oh my God, I couldn't even imagine. And she said people have been bitten on the face,
I was just gonna
in the
say,
head, on the
right in
neck,
the
and she's
nose.
jamming a needle right into your cheek where the wound is. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And kids, like 6-year-olds, she said, "This, I hate giving the shot. It's the worst shot to give because it's going to hurt." And the emergency room doctor, who I only saw in the initial beginning, as he left the room, he said, "By the way, it hurts like a mother." Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
And you thought Game of Thrones doesn't hold back.
Oh,
They haven't. I'll give you that spoiler. Nobody has gotten rabies yet in Game of Thrones.
I tell you, I don't know. Maybe rabies would have been better than that hand shot. That hand shot. Hand shot. It's an adult show. So, yeah, I wanted to get that story out there. The plastic-eating raccoon. Oh, my Lord.
Who is now terrorizing a forest somewhere.
Absolutely.
Wishing that it had,
There's got to be
plastic, looking for a noodle to chew on.
There's got to be better things. I mean, the summer, so far has given me tons of stories, but as the summer moves on, we're getting closer to, cooler weather again. I'm kind of done with the hot weather already. I'm just
me too.
Not a muggy hot weather kind of guy.
I don't do hot weather very well at all.
I'd like to somehow or another get back to, the fall and the good sports such as football.
Well, you know what they say. Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. I've been saying that for years. Didn't you have some kind of football update?
Yes.
That you wanted to get out there?
Just because this is kind of a Gardner family moment.
I like family moments.
Yes. That's why I'm sharing it with you and all of our listening friends. Or both of them anyway. Basically, my daughter... This has happened in the past 2 weeks, so you don't know about this.
Okay.
We adopted a while ago.
You and your daughter?
Well, yes. But what you may not know is that I kissed my daughter goodnight one night, and the next morning there was a girl in her bed that looked just like her but wasn't her. And her name is Hot Cocoa.
Oh.
So now Hot Cocoa lives with us.
Okay.
And Hot Cocoa is a DJ. Hot Cocoa is also a professional athlete.
Okay.
And Hot Cocoa refers to herself in third person.
Oh.
So, Hot Cocoa will come down and say, Hot Cocoa needs breakfast now. And it's just absolutely freaking hysterical. But
Hot Cocoa.
So, Hot Cocoa takes no guff from anybody about anything, and Hot Cocoa knows exactly what she wants and all this. So, Hot Cocoa, my daughter has been, when she does come around, my daughter is lovely, but then this Hot Cocoa shows up, and Hot Cocoa has decided that she wanted to be a varsity kicker.
Oh.
Well,
she is an athlete.
So she is. Hot Cocoa is an accomplished soccer player.
Okay.
And decided that, Hot Cocoa could go do this. And I reminded Hot Cocoa that she had never actually kicked a football. And she said, well,
yeah.
Hot Cocoa wants a football.
Yeah.
Get Hot Cocoa a football,
You get
Dad.
Hot Cocoa a football.
Yeah. So I called around. I got a football and a tee. And we went out and did some kicking.
Okay.
Just for kicks.
Was your daughter there?
So, no, I think it was just Hot Cocoa was there
okay.
at the time, and my son was there though. He was also a kicker for the football team, so he had a lot of deconstructive criticism, to make sure that she was distracted appropriately
right.
as a kicker would be, things like that, and it was fun to have the kids out there, and I got some nice pictures of it and stuff. So I posted that online and just kind of said something about, hey, we got a kicker. Well, the one of the football coaches said, bring her in.
Nice.
And I kind of, this is on Facebook, so I'm kind of like, haha, whatever.
Right.
And little thumbs up. We'll go with that. And then came home and there's this girl on my couch, and she says, Hot Cocoa wants to know when football practice starts. And I just kind of looked at her, and I'm like, does Hot Cocoa really want to play football? And she goes, Hot Cocoa wants to play football!
Nice!
And I said, there's some big boys out there. And she's like, Hot Cocoa don't care!
You got a Disney princess on your hands.
Pretty much.
There's going to be a movie.
So, so I got in touch with the coach and said, how serious are you about having a 110-pound girl be a kicker for the sophomore team? And he said, bring her in. We start at 7:30 on Monday.
Wow.
So I looked up and I said, Hot Cocoa, you got practice at 7:30 on Monday. And then my daughter shows up and says, I'm a little nervous about that.
Nervous for hot cocoa.
Yeah, I think so. It's like living in Fight Club. It's crazy. But, yeah, so it's fun. But hot cocoa has her first practice next Monday.
This Monday.
This coming Monday. And,
nice.
And we'll find out how this goes. So I told the coach, if you can find a helmet that fits her head and hot cocoa's ego, that's half the battle.
Well,
So-
in all fairness, though, hot cocoa, in order to tuck all of the hair in, would probably still need a size 7 helmet.
I suspect so. If size 7 is big, I don't know helmet sizes.
That is fantastic.
So, yeah, I thought that was
I'm telling you, Disney's going to make a movie. There's a movie waiting. Well, that is an absolutely
Hot Cocoa
perfect football
Express.
team. So is it the Bucks?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
the high school name is the Bucks. So
Yep. So we'll see how our tryout goes. But anyway, it was interesting.
very nice.
So,
Well, hot cocoa, what I'd like to see sometime is you actually come downstairs in the morning and say, hot cocoa wants a hot cocoa. And the only time you'd really have to worry about anything is if right behind her another girl came down and said, Kimberly wants a hot cocoa too.
hello,
Kimberly. They got hot cocoa at Skis.
But and I came home today and there was I kid you not, from the library she had picked up Football for Dummies. And
Nice.
And now knows that you only have 24 seconds to make a play or whatever it is. I don't know. You're the football person. 30 seconds.
Well, see, now, Levis and his son come to my house often to watch the Bears game.
It's true.
And you can understand because he doesn't watch television. There's no TV in the house, so if they want to watch a Bears game, they come to my house.
I have to make a friend if I want to watch TV.
I have a feeling I'm going to have to make an extra plate of food.
Not just food. Chicken house.
Oh, chicken wings.
Yes, most likely.
Yes, I may have to buy a little bit bigger grill because there's going to be an extra guest at
Because
the
I'm
football
betting
games.
hot cocoa wants wings.
And hot cocoa's, I'm just going to open the door and I'm just going to hear, hot cocoa wants some wings.
And you can say, Chicken House got your wings.
Chicken House got your wings. Right here. The Chicken House. So it's North Brown Studios on Thursday evenings.
Yes.
But on Sundays, between 12 and 3, it's the Chicken
It's
House.
a Chicken House.
Chicken House. So, awesome. I would take all the help I can get because we're not even going to talk about the Bears. See,
right.
But one of my, I may have mentioned this in a previous podcast, but one of my resolutions this year was to give up sports talk radio.
Really?
And
No, I don't remember you saying that.
January 1st, I listened to my last sports talk radio, which was The Score,
Okay.
670 AM in Chicago, and I haven't listened to it since. So everybody tells me the Cubs are doing great. I'm like, well,
That's good.
I think I saw something on the internet.
Yeah. Welcome to my world.
And I'm like that guy now, like Levis. And I have no idea who the Bears drafted or if they're practicing yet or when their first game. I don't know. But when the game comes, I'll sit down and watch it. And it'll be kind of like watching that movie that you never saw a trailer for.
Right.
I will sit down and watch the game, not having any expectations, not having anyone tell me this player is going to shine or this player, and I'm just going to watch the game. And I think it's going to be fantastic.
It's fun.
And ever since
fun.
I gave up sports talk radio, I got the idea to do the podcast because I started listening to NPR.
See?
I started listening to like some progressive talk radio. I started listening to some podcasts. And I'm like, this is the way to go because you can drill in and listen to what you want when you want.
There you go.
Podcasts. It's the future, Howard Stern. And boy, is he mad about podcasting.
Oh, probably.
My Lord. We'll get into that some other time, but some of the things I've heard Howard Stern say about podcasting, he's scared to death about podcasting because he's losing listeners. Because
Surprise. Because he's not the only voice.
he's not the only voice. So, anyways, we are now at 4 hours and 26 minutes into the show.
I was wondering.
And I got the 6-string Gilly right here and laying on Levis's 10 fingers. Got those eyes gazing at me over the mic, through the mic. Sometimes if I look through the pantyhose in front of the mic here, it's even better. That's what I'm talking about. Soft,
You need a hobby.
gentle breezes with Levis. When I was up in Michigan, I would just sit on the beach as the waves would crash up against the shore and the seagulls would fly over. And I'd dig my feet in the sand and think, man, I wish Levis was here.
How am I supposed to play when you're talking like that?
And then after I wished Levis was there, then there was this burly, hairy man walking down the beach by himself, holding his sandals in one hand and a
Was it George Cooney?
PBR in the other. And I thought, man, if that was Levis right there, That'd be really freaking weird. So yeah, that's what I did on the beach up in Michigan. Thought about Levis. Thought about this show too, because we did go a couple of weeks without it.
Mm-hmm.
So
What are we doing next week?
next week, if you're available, whatever the next show is going to involve Alex and his craft beer special. Now, we talked about it before. He had some really crazy emergency come up. He could not come out and be with us. That's not one that you can do over the phone. It's got to be in studio because we're drinking.
Right.
And he's not going to bring Wombat Pea this time, or 10W30. It's going to be light summer brews that I think you can handle.
I'll believe it
and
when I
Levis
see
won't
it.
gag when he drinks them. No IPAs.
Okay.
None of that garbage. That was really hard to get down. I still have 6 of those IPAs in the fridge
Waiting for Alex.
down here in the
to show up.
basement, waiting for Alex to show up to take them back with him. So, but that should be next Thursday. If not, it will be very shortly after that. The next show will involve Alex, and we'll definitely try and set up Mr. Alan Gould for another call-in, because I think Alex would be a good one to have on the other end
There
when
you
we
go.
do the Urban Dictionary update. So, oh, and I'd like to also thank Terry for sending in her picture with her JDAWG shirt
I saw that.
as she was sitting in her backyard
Reading.
reading the Urban Dictionary.
Yes.
That's just fantastic.
I like that our listeners are educated.
They are educated. And after reading that and listening to Michael Allen Gould, how can you not want to go out and use your new words
That's right.
in different situations? So I did explain to a fellow camper in Michigan this week what a blumpkin was. Yes, because I didn't really expect them to listen to the show or anything, but I'm like, have you ever heard of a blumpkin? And got a good laugh out of that, the blumpkin. Go back a couple episodes, figure what that is. The blumpkin. So, here we are, podcast 18. We're going to let you go for the evening on the JDAWG and Leevis Show. Right here on Spreaker.com is where you'll probably listen to us most of the time. That's where we host our shows. But you can also catch us on iTunes. You can find us on YouTube. You can also find us on Blueberry.com, BLUBRRY. I think there's another one out there called Podcast.com that we somehow got linked up to through the RS feed. But now, if you just go to Google and type in JDAWG and Leevis, yeah.
No way.
It's pretty cool. The whole first page is filled up with stuff.
Nice. Do
Yeah.
you have to spell JDAWG correctly?
You do.
Okay.
And it's spelled JDAWG and Leevis, and Leevis is Leevis. But yeah, you can go into iTunes or YouTube, just type in JDAWG and Leevis, and it pops right up, all the shows.
Nice.
But try a Google search, see what happens.
I'm going to do that.
Don't do it when the kids are around. Don't do it at work. But go ahead and see. There's lots of stuff on there now. So that's cool. We'll be doing Podcast 19 soon. Go ahead and email us. Please email us. I'd like to see some requests for the show. We haven't had a request for a song in a little while. You can email us at jdawgandleevis@gmail.com. I'm not going to give you the Twitter feed because we hate Twitter. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And then the Facebook page, JDAWG and Leevis on Facebook. So that's where we do most of our postings for upcoming events. Thank you very much for listening tonight. This was a kind of last second, hey, you want to do a show because we didn't have anything planned. And I think it turned out well.
Yeah.
George Cooney, I now know that everybody knows about him, and he's a very fascinating fellow. I just had to part ways. I couldn't be with him anymore. Couldn't be together. We were going in different directions. So, no more George Cooney. That's all we have for Podcast 18 here on, what is it, July 7th? I think we started
so.
this thing in February. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Pretty cool. Moving right along. There'll be a lot of happy fans because we didn't even announce we were doing a show. So we'll let this go in the morning and see what happens and see what kind of reaction we get.
There you
Whether
go.
it's angry, mad, happy, glad, sad, doesn't matter.
I suspect they're going to be really frustrated.
Any publicity is good publicity for us. So have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much, Leevis, for coming in.
Absolutely.
And let's go ahead and close this down and just get stone drunk and touch each other.
Fair enough.
Very good. Good night, everybody.
Good night.